or just be yourself. If people don't like it, if you're being yourself, fuck them.
It's Big Los, late as hell, but oh well, and welcome to another episode of The Noize. If you haven't yet, follow us on the big three, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at The Noize Podcast. And of course, follow everything Beat Network at beatnetworkonline.com. As you can hear, it is just I. Kev is a bit under the weather, and honestly, so am I, but I'm going to try to persevere and push through this because you guys deserve some sort of episode. So since it is a solo dolo, you already know I'm about to be in and out like a robbery. In and out like that night you said you were nervous and she was so pretty. In and out like Tyrone's bum ass. You keep letting him back in knowing he toxic. We in and out of here. Don't ask me where that whole intro came from. Just know. We're not going to keep you guys long. Like you already know, when I do these solo episodes, it's ultimately me talking to me. So I feel like if you go a certain time, you have to admit that there may be a problem there. And talking to yourself has become a thing of worry, has become a true cause of worry. And that's the last thing I'm trying to do is have y'all worried about me. Shout out to my co-host, my partner, Kev. He'll definitely be back on the next one. So you know what? It's actually going to be an impromptu story with Los. Like we're going to actually do this. Kev may not ever confirm this story to you, but I promise this is the story that he told me and it made perfect fucking sense going forward. But before we get into that, make sure y'all download the Beat Network app on Amazon Prime Video. You can access that the easiest through your Fire Stick. Give us 5 stars on that. Make us feel good about the people that we are for creating this content. Plug. Make sure you go get some Noize merch from thenoizemerch.threadless.com. Rep it, rock it, buy it, love it. I'm going to somehow put that on a shirt one day. We'll see what actually happens. What else do I need to plug? It's Wednesday. So that means tomorrow, or whenever you're listening to this, there's a new episode of Back to the Classes that came out. There was also an episode of Cinema Rehab to come out. Just follow everything Beat Network. Subscribe to the channel. 5-star everything. Definitely get to Apple Podcasts and all the other streaming platforms and 5-star this show. Again, help us out. Love us the way we love y'all. Plug. Now, as I was speaking, when it comes down to Kev, again, 100% true story as far as I'm concerned. Kev may never confirm this story to you, but just know I'm telling y'all this because it is the return of story time with Los. Now, as y'all have known over the years that we've been doing this grand and glorious show, Kev has always had some kind of back issue or getting sick or crazy migraines. And we're going to peel the curtain back. We're going to let you guys know exactly what it is. Because all these things that happen to Kev, they are very real. And of course, I've been around to experience majority of them. But just to kind of fill you guys in, he finally broke down to me. Again, he may never confirm this. You can ask him about it. Tell him about it in detail. Tell him exactly where to listen to in the show, to hear me tell the story that he 100% told me. So Kev, back when he was a spry young whippersnapper, young athlete, he had a high ankle sprain playing basketball, and he felt like it was a fracture, so he went and got it checked out, got a full x-ray on it, and doctor told him it was a high ankle sprain, and he was like, this hurts like a bitch, but I just got to deal with it. And while he was walking around just trying to work it out a little bit, loosen it up, there was an old man that was walking the other way, and the old man, mind you, the old man was a patient in the hospital, but he still stopped Kev and asked him for the good news. I'm not sure what the good news was, but he asked him for the good news, and Kev was like, "What?" He said, "Do you have the good news, brother?" And it was so weird because he was like Panamanian, but he was speaking very, very jive talk. You know what I'm saying? "Do you have the good news, brother?" And Kev was like, "Man, if you don't get the fuck out of my face, man," and he just lightly, shoves him, just like a little, But you gotta remember, Kev is the grimy brown giant. He doesn't know his own strength. He'll hurt somebody. And in this situation, he kind of did. And this is what led Kev down the path that he currently is on when it comes down to his well-being. Because after he pushed this Panamanian jive talking brother down, He looked up, he said something in his language, and then he said, "One day you'll know." And ever since that day, I promise you, Kev told me this story verbatim. He'll probably deny it, but I'm telling you, this is the absolute truth. He said, "One day you'll know." And ever since that day, Kev has been falling apart. You already know his back is made out of paper clips. You know that anytime he gets sick is when the wind blows ever so slightly. And for some reason, we watched the mighty timber fall. And again, Kev told me this verbatim. I just wanted to make sure that we create that sympathy with the ear hustlers. Understand he's trying to reconcile for those actions with that old man. But he said when he went back the next day, because as soon as Kev walked out, his knee just completely fell out, fully intact. It was weird. So he was like, "Oh, this is what dude was talking about." So he went back to talk to him like, "Yo, I'm over here falling apart like Legos. What's going on?" But he went back, old man was gone. And they had no record of the old man at that hospital at all. I'm telling you, Kev is going to deny this story 100%, but ask him about it. Ask him about it. Tell him that Lowe's told y'all. But anyway, like I said, I'm going to try to be in and out like a robbery. There are some things I definitely wanted to touch on because, to me, these stories are interesting, and definitely worth the conversation. I got to start off by saying RIP to ShockG, aka Humpty Hump from Digital Underground. Now, I gotta speak selfishly first. I am a member of Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated, and I'm also a member of the Always Alpha Alpha chapter from Wilberforce University. Our song that we used to get out there and, kill the stroll lines with was the Humpty Dance. Anytime you heard, the chords drop, bruhs line up, and we out there hitting the craziest bounce, you know what I'm saying, killing the circles. I am a rather portly individual. However, I would make the circle. Last time I went back, half circles here and there, but we're speaking on 2016 time. Then, this was, again, a young spry Los. I was able to hit the circle. That wasn't a problem. And the Humpty Dance was always our go-to record. Nationally, it's always been computer games, but we go to the Humpty Dance. Y'all know what it is. Shout out to Wilberforce University as well. And welcome back, Dean Carter. This is very specific for the Wilberforce University listeners, so everybody else, sorry. But shout out to Dean Carter. Welcome back to Wilberforce University. But anyway, ShockG was really integral when it came down to my enjoyment in college, because anytime the Humpty Dance came on, that was us. And that's where we used to go. And that's a song that I've loved for years. I'm not going to sit here and play like, "Oh, you got to heard this Digital Underground album, this Digital Underground album." The Sex Package is the most popular album from Digital Underground. And that's pretty much where my knowledge starts and stops when it comes down to the group. But that doesn't mean I didn't still follow Digital Underground and ShockG. And I don't understand the importance of ShockG in the industry, and this really goes without saying, without ShockG, there would be no Tupac. The reason I say that is, Pac was doing his rapping here and there, from Baltimore all the way until he finally got to Oakland. And when he finally linked up with ShockG and Digital Underground, he had his first mainstream verse. And, that was his verse on Same Song. And I believe that was from the Nothing But Trouble soundtrack with Chevy Chase and Dan Aykroyd. I want to say that's where it was from. And first of all, as a debut verse, especially for that time, Pac killed it. And that was like the perfect introduction to understand that this is somebody that got bars, he got flow, he can get jiggy if you want to. Like, it's somebody to look out for. And that started because of how big Digital Underground was at the time. And ShockG, no disrespect to the rest of the group, ShockG is call it what it is, main reason for that. With the songs like Same Songs and him having the alter ego Humpty Hump and coming out with the Humpty Dance, that was so different, and he was still so talented lyrically, and he had fun with it. He was really one of the first proponents of fun hip hop in the industry. It's a lot of cats that are clowns right now that don't realize that are clowns. ShockG created Humpty Hump to be a clown out the gate and still be super dope doing it. It's still unknown what happened to him, unfortunately. It's sad to really think about because you don't want to think the worst, but he was 57 and passed away, gone at 57. So they're still trying to figure out what exactly happened. Definitely a sad day. Really a sad time for hip hop. It seems like 2021 is coming exclusively after the legends, with taking out DMX, taking out Black Rob, ShockG. You got Prince Marky D that passed away. He's from the Fat Boys. It's just tough. It's tough being at that age now that we watch the people we came up knowing and loving and enjoying their content and enjoying their artistry, and having to kind of watch them fall off. 57 is young, y'all. 57 is young. Look at DMX. 50 is young. And a lot of us that came maybe slightly after that time or was during that time, we're just in our 30s. That's insane to really think about. But definitely RIP to ShockG. Much love and respect, prayers, well wishes, and positive vibes to his family, to the Digital Underground, and to really anybody that, had love for ShockG and for Digital Underground and, what they did early on in hip hop. So definitely RIP to ShockG. While we are on the subject of hip hop, DJ Khaled has announced that this Friday, April 30th, he's going to be releasing a new album called Khaled Khaled. And this was, for me at least, I'll say, was the most out of nowhere situation when it comes to album releases for someone this big, besides a surprise album. But yeah, the Khaled Khaled album is going to be coming out, and I looked into it and saw that he has his sons listed as executive producers. And first of all, let me just give those flowers while I can. I think that's incredibly dope. I think we know their kids had no integral part in creating this project. We know that, they didn't pitch in as much as Blue Ivy did to earn her Grammy. However, it is amazing to think that he's leaving this kind of real estate for his kids. He's leaving this kind of, this stream of income for his kids to benefit on. So now, those ASCAP checks, they're going to say, his son's names, and this is something that's going to live forever, and they're going to always be paid off these streams, especially if he can get it, especially if he has some solid people on the, on the project. And I really look forward to hearing what this does. We definitely need to get an episode of Turn My Mic Up, reviewing it. Cause again, it's Khaled. He may not have always had the best albums, but he also is pretty good with knocking some shit out. So yeah, he's definitely up there with the best of them. Now, with that being said, I gotta have an old man gripe. I gotta get this off my chest. I gotta get this out my feelings. I'm not a fan of the no rollout era. Like, I'm not a fan of, we're just gonna put this out, then the singles will follow, and then y'all just enjoy. You know what I mean? I do miss the days of the full rollout. I miss the days of the music videos. I miss the days of the, 2 singles getting their rotation and, making some kind of noise and, making some kind of impact. And, it just seems like, those days are pretty much over. Like, you don't really get the opportunity to get excited for an album. I was just having this conversation with somebody the other day, and I remember when movie soundtracks were a big part of the promotion for movies. You having the big records, Men in Black, and mostly at Will Smith, I guess. But even with the Bad Boys album, Shake Your Tail Feather, and it's so many different records they used to go into promotions, whether it was for the movie, for the album, for some kind of a product. I want to say it was Boom. Two really solid examples. So you got Fubu. Fubu dropped an entire album to promote their brand. You know what I mean? Had a full rollout, had led with Fatty Girl, with Ludacris, LL Cool J, and Keith Murray. You go all the way to, I want to say it was Boost Mobile. Or it was either Boost Mobile or Nextel, because they both had the chirp. And they had The Game, Kanye, Noize. I want to say that was it. I could be wrong. But they had that Where You At, The Whole City Behind Us. They had that record to promote that. And that became a full-fledged fucking record. I miss the days of the rollout. You know, I understand just saying that we're going to do an album. It's exciting because you think about, okay, so who's possibly going to be on it? How's this about to sound? Yada, yada, yada. And, don't get me wrong, Khaled, from what it looks like, some people he announced, he does got some hitters on there. He says that Justin Timberlake's going to be on there. He said Meek Mill, Jay-Z and Beyonce. I know for a fact Drake probably going to end up on there. J Balvin is on there. He has his usual go-tos. So I'm not saying it's not going to be an enjoyable album. However, I am saying I would like a rollout. I miss those days, and I wouldn't mind having that kind of excitement generated again. Because I'm telling y'all, the days of the rollouts, for anybody that's, I guess, too young to listen to the show, again, why? Secondly, the days of the rollouts, that was such a lost art. And it was so enjoyable. When you lose the rollouts, that's how you started losing the 106 in Parks. You started losing the Total Request Live, Sucker Free Sundays. Like, it was so many different platforms people to roll out albums that it made hip hop music in general so enjoyable from an entertainment standpoint, just as much from a musical standpoint. I miss those days, but I do look forward to this project, and I do look forward to every project that is coming. I'm hoping that we have a solid 2021 with people being able to go outside again and, cats returning to tours. This should be one of the best years in music. It should be. It needs to be. Like, I really want this to be a good year in hip hop. La Maquina from Conway the Machine, fantastic fucking project. I know we're supposed to get some other projects. Oh, while we sitting here talking about it, a tweet that I saw, an Instagram post that I saw before I got on the show, TDE, doing a loading menu saying the wait is over May 7th. Now, before I get too excited, before I get too hyped, they have squad. Like, they have a whole team. They got Schoolboy. They got J-Rock. They got Absol. SZA is doing their thing again. Isaiah Rashad, who hasn't really had that takeoff point for him, and a bunch of different artists. This could mean any fucking body. But the general consensus are in agreement that it needs to be Kendrick. Quit fucking playing. You know what I mean? We are all in agreement that it needs to be Kendrick. When I went to the actual post on IG, the first person I saw was friend of the show, Mac Wells. And he said, "Oh, my mama, it better be Kung Fu Kenny." And Mac, I agree with you. I am right there with you, bro. It needs to be Kenny. We've been waiting long enough. We've been having to defend this man's name. It's rough out here, all right? It's time to drop the new Kendrick. Hopefully that's what the countdown is for. We'll know in just under 2 weeks. We will know in just under 2 weeks. We need to see this happen. We need to see what this next project is. Because if it's anybody other than Kendrick, after dropping such a vague fucking promo, they're going to just try to shock everybody and put out one of their regular artists or something. We'll see what happens though. But, stuff like that. I wish we knew leading up to it. And if you do drop something and it's trash, or if it's not up to par with the anticipation that you were building, then what? Because articles are starting to talk about it. The rollout. We need those back. The rollout. Finally, I want to get up out of here talking about, I was kind of right. Just wrong Paul, wrong brother. So it was announced that Floyd Mayweather and Logan Paul have officially rescheduled their fight, and they're going to be fighting June 6th at the Hard Rock Stadium in Miami. I say this again. I can give two shits about the Pauls, but I give credit where credit is due. I give respect where respect is due. Those white boys know how to monetize their platform. They know exactly how to monetize their platform. They've built a subscription base, a follower base of the high millions. You know what I mean? I mean, legit 8 digits, and it could be more. It could be in the 9-digit range when it comes down to followers and subscribers. Like they've amassed such a following that whatever these motherfuckers do, people flock to it and they buy it. We saw that happen with Jake Paul's fight. There was literally no reason to watch the Jake Paul fight card at all. And they still generated that much money off the strength of Jake Paul. So now you got Logan Paul, who has the exact same amount of following, may have more. And, you know, arguably one of the greatest boxer of all time, the money man himself, Money Mayweather. No one should look forward to a great fight. The excitement in all of this is hearing about what the purse looks like afterwards, which is a shame when it comes down to boxing, because you want it to be about the bout. You want it to be about the competition. However, where it's at now, at least coming down to what's more popular, is what the purse looked like. What was the money made? And it's Floyd Mayweather, so you know the bag is going to be tremendous. And this is happening outside of Triller. I'm not too sure where it's going to be happening at. Pretty sure it's going to be pay-per-view. But it's happening outside of Triller. But just imagine the amount of money this could have generated if they went through Triller, knowing what Jake Paul and his card made. It's going to be insane. Am I going to watch the fight? Absolutely, because my curiosity is definitely toxic, I guess. But I'm not going into this looking for, just one of the greatest boxing matches of all time. I'm really going into this to really kind of just watch the pageantry, to watch, the circus clowns really get it in, and watch the melee that surrounds it. I'm very curious to what kind of money this is going to make coming out of a pandemic, and of course allowing people in the arenas. I know here in Vegas they're talking about opening up in full June 1st, and I feel like Florida never fully closed down anyway, so they're definitely going to have people in attendance. This is a very curious decision to have Floyd Mayweather come back in his first match since Pacquiao, or actually since the Japanese dude, and have him fight Logan Paul, who is not a good boxer. I gotta call it for how it is. And he's about to just toy him. He's about to play with him. I really wouldn't want this to fuck up Floyd Mayweather's legacy. And really towards the end of his professional boxing career, that was already starting to poke at his legacy, because he became known as the dude with the get out the way game. One of the illest shoulder drops in the world. And I don't want him to keep taking on these novelty fights. Like, if you're going to take on an exhibition, at least have it be against another, great fighter who may be in and out of retirement, just like you. But he keeps having these novelty fights as exhibitions, and it's going to start to, really, okay, I'm starting to get tired of Floyd Mayweather. And it may not be that money generating situation anymore, because now we only see you as a novelty fighter. But curiosity is everything. It was brilliant for him to do it with one of the Pauls, because just off of their strength alone, they're going to buy the shit out of that. They're going to buy the shit out of that, especially because they feel like, oh, Logan Paul is young. He's getting better, quote unquote. He's doing what he has to do. He probably can really give Mayweather a run for his money and all this other shit. I don't think he's going to get his ass knocked out, but I do think he's going to get punched the fuck up, because even though Mayweather has been, choosing novelty fights lately, that's still one of the greatest counter punches to ever get in the ring. So Logan Paul is going to get a whole lot of counters to the face. So that's going to be entertaining to watch. So I guess from that aspect, okay, I'll go ahead and give it that. So that's actually going to be really entertaining to watch, is the lumps. And then I'm pretty sure Jake Paul is going to call him out afterwards, because Jake Paul already been calling out Mayweather. This is so weird to talk about. And I definitely need Kev to bounce back and forth to kind of give me that other side, the straight no. That's going to come from Kev, I'm sure. So with that being said, I will go ahead and wrap up. Like I said, not going to keep you long, in and out. You can follow me at you can follow me at Big Los IG on IG. You can follow at Hollywood's Kev 2 underscores. Or is it underscore Hollywood Kev? Try both. See what happens. Of course, follow everything at the Noize Podcast on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And follow everything Beat Network at beatnetworkonline.com. You can also follow that on IG at Beat Network. Download the Beat Network app to your Fire Stick and to your Amazon Prime Video. Noize merch, thenoizemerch.com.threadless. Get you some Noize merch. I believe that is everything. So I will go ahead and hop up out of here. Hope you guys enjoyed. Sorry for the late quickie, but had to get things done. Cats are dying around here. And remember, talk to Kev about that issue with the Panamanian gypsy. Tell him to tell you everything in full detail. If he doesn't remember, tell him to listen to this show so you can get reminded. As always, we appreciate you guys tuning in. As always, we appreciate the support. And as always, Big Los. Shout out to Kev. It's the Noize.